Good afternoon. Time to be back as knowma, and as you can see, I have penguins giving me company. Um, yes, it's a bit nippy in Chandigarh. So I'm going to be talking about heart health, but the knowma way, which is what is already available in India to keep our heart healthy and happy at the same time. We were miraculous people, I think, earlier on, and our ethos was so strong and so earthy that we had this inbuilt de-stressing mechanisms available to us. So one was the support of family. We normally lived in larger families, joint families, where a lot of uncles, aunts, grandparents lived together, which obviously automatically provided with a de-stressing mechanism, a sharing mechanism, and a support mechanisms both to the women in the household and to the men in the household. Second was community. So Indians were very community driven. They had a lot of community interaction, a lot of community functions, a lot of festivals, and had a certain sense of responsibility also towards their community, where they felt, that it was their responsibility to contribute, to participate, and stuff like that. Earlier, if you were caught smoking by even somebody who was just living down your street, he could pull your ear and he could tell that kid or that young man that I'm going to be talking about this to your dad. And this kid would actually be a little hassle with it and be like, oh, I have to be careful. Whereas today, I mean, nobody will dare say that to you. They will be like, oh, it's somebody else's son and I don't care. So community played an important role in keeping our life balanced. The third was some sort of a rich religious or spiritual anchor. Almost every Indian had, followed a religion or had some sort of a spiritual anchor, which obviously answered some of the larger questions of life, existence, universe, energies, knowma to them. There were references made to Gita. There were Gita chantings where you understood the way of life and what Lord Krishna taught about how to deal with everyday life. There were satsangas, there were bhajan chantings, there were overnight discourses. All of it happened very, very regularly, thus keeping a side of us very grounded spiritually or religiously. Um, the fourth was environment, living as one and co-living with Mother Earth. Let's see, in India we always called it Mother Earth. That is unique. I'm so humbled and proud to be an Indian, I can't tell you. And very saddened that we have let go of a lot of this. So we were taught to live as one with Mother Earth, not in opposition to it. Especially in Hinduism, where we had attached every god to some tree, to some flower, to some animal, to some, to a river, and which obviously made it very difficult for us to harm it. I mean, if I was a Shiva devotee, I would never kill a snake, and we know how important snake is in the ecosystem. If I prayed to Lord Ganesha, I would never kill the mouse. We again know how important are mice, for the ecosystem. So our religion was somehow intermingled and entwined with nature, and a lot of reverence and respect for Mother Earth. Believe me, if we had continued with that, we would not have had a calamity and this pandemic like Corona. So, number one was family, then was community, then there was some sort of a religious or a spiritual anchor. Fourth, being living one with nature and respecting your environment. Fifth, I think, was food. Food was also prayer. Food was also a revered energy. And today we know we are all that we eat. We are nothing but what we eat and drink. So they not only prayed to food, before partaking it, they made sure it was prepared in very hygienic conditions. They shared food, before eating. They would keep some for a cow, keep some for a crow, keep some for a dog, keep some, for somebody asking alms. They would regularly give away alms on a new moon, on a full moon. So a lot of giving away and sharing was encouraged earlier, and they always ate what was locally grown around them, within, say, maybe 50, 60 mile radius of where they lived. And obviously that helped them because their bodies could handle that food, the environment would suit them, the seasonality of food would suit their existence better. Of course, they ate ghee, of course, they had clarified butter, of course, they had sweets, but not in ati. Now, ati is the Hindi word for excess. They did everything in balance. It was not like every day they were celebrating a festival. And they did a lot of physical work to obviously digest the food. They had this wisdom about food. They respected seasonal produce. They never ate watermelon in winters. They never ate curds in North India in winters in the night. They never ate, frozen mangoes. They never ate something difficult to digest like a bean with a thick skin in the middle of the night. So they respected food, they respected seasonality of food, they cooked every day, in fact 3 times a day. They included natural probiotics like fermented sharbats as they called it. They included curds in their everyday night, which is a live bacteria, which is a probiotic, as we all know it. So food was another factor which kept them balanced, which kept them healthy, and which kept them obviously away from stress. I think last but not the least was contentment. They had this certain contentment about life. They were not forever competing. They were not particularly jealous if the neighbor bought a car. They were um, they were somehow happy with what they had. They did aspire a little, they did have ambition, but not so much that they were ruled by their ambition or their aspirations or their desires. They were the ones riding them. That I think brought them a lot of stability and a lot of peace, and basically they were able to enjoy that particular time in their life rather than being worried about whose selfie is looking better and who went and clicked it in Rome. Um, and of course, the Indian food always had things like turmeric, cinnamon, cloves, tulsi, ajwain, ginger, garlic. Am I forgetting something here? I mean, everything which is considered natural antibiotics, natural anti inflammatories, natural healers. And they consume these on a daily basis. So they were healthy, they were spiritually strong because they had a certain spiritual calling or a religion anchoring them. They had a strong support system because they lived with joint families and they respected their communities. And they had contentment, which gave them a very, very happy and long life. So, my dear friends, here I am, a 21st century modern young MBBS doctor, um, who's also knowma, who's realized that to be one with nature and to be one with environment and to be one with your own heart is the most important thing that's going to keep you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Let's adapt and go back to our roots. Let's put all of these back in our lives as certain modern, modifications if needed. But believe me, there will never ever be a corona pandemic if Indians and the world decided to follow some of these simple things that we have been doing for centuries. Thank you.